Welcome back to Project Ascension. I'm your host, Andrew Mallet, and we have the wonderful Karen Ann lucyk McDonald, white 13th Bear Clan mother. And tell us what you're going to do for us tonight, Karen.
Oh my gosh, where to start, Andrew? And we want to thank Nadej and all of you that will be following in and joining in on the Zoom room and seeing this on the record. So we're pretty excited to have that, and we're pretty excited to start doing some more Project Ascension. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do it, because we're going to be on YouTube and also on Rumble right now, right? And Facebook and MeWe and a bunch of other places.
Correct.
Too now. So I'm also on Telegram and Twitter and the usual things too. So, you know, send us a tweet if you like that too. Anyway, I wanted to update some people. I don't know if you remember Andrew, but okay, 3-4 years ago, 2016, we started talking about biofeedback.
Right.
And I did a really lengthy thing, and we had done things. I had a big $30,000 box, and, you know, it was like, you know, the transmitter, it was in a radionic box called Skeel. And since then, we've, you know, gone with some of the people that were part of that original development team, and one of them was Ryan Williams. And he made another one and another one. And then one day he got a brilliant idea. He goes, you know, we should make this all portable. We should put this on iPads and iTablets and stuff, right? So instead of carrying around suitcases of hospital and medical equipment and, you know, the old QRS and hook you up with the EEGs and all my straps and everything, look like we're going to put you into shock therapy. You know, Ryan went, and he did. He was part of the Army and intelligence. And so we could convert, instead of putting all these motherboards and everything into something and creating it, he said, why don't we just use the existing crystals in here? Duh. So we became very Star Trek-y. And it's been actually working absolutely brilliant. So then I aligned up with Dr. Ariel Policano, and she's at geniusbiofeedback.com. And she's a brilliant naturopath and energetic medical doctor. And we started doing software and taking these things that Ryan had developed and started making programs. And it's been unlimited. I think we got 60, 70,000, you know, going at it right now. So there are many books that are out there. I don't know if people have seen it, but it's called PEMF, the fifth element of health. So what you're really doing is measuring the biofield out and around someone here. So we're not only looking at the biofield, the template, the plasma energy, you know, Castor visualization. Some people call it the aura, but we're able to dissect it from an electrical magnetic perspective. So really, this becomes sort of a high-tech ultrasound is really what it is. So we have a rife and radionics in here, and we also have the scalar wave. So we have about 4 machines in one, actually. So not only can we test you, but now what we can do is we can make remedies and hook yourself up and shake you guys silly. And actually, when you're shaking at that kind of oscillation, right, it's not a martini, but what we're doing is we're shaking you with the ultrasonic pulse energetic magnetic scalar wave. And that's the same idea in the hospital as using sort of ultrasound and getting rid of kidney stones. So again, it's got a very fine mic. So this one is very specific, because what it does is it captures your voice and your photo. So instead of sending blood samples into people or DNA, or there are lots of people right now, they're putting bracelets on, which is basically like a micro tensor electrocution, or, you know, like a zapper. It's so primitive. It's like wearing a battery. It's really like that mouse zapper that you plug into the, you know, wall, and it sends out an irritating signal. Well, that's the idea of using this very basic technology. And so this is much more higher tech. So we don't have to drag around all these transmitters, because we're using it already with what's already in here. And it's not harmful to people. So I want to make sure that you know this. This is pulse energetic magnetic, is not the radiation that you're getting with 5G. This is a software program, and it's an app and not a medical device. Okay. So that means that we could start gifting it out, and people could use it on any phone. So it converts any phone, what you have existing. So you don't have to go out and lay out that $20,000, $30,000. And if people, you know, want to look at what the prices of indigo and e-doctors are and BRTs, they range anywhere from 20,000 up, and that's not even including your medical university school.
Right.
So it can be very, very costly when I had my health center. So for this to come out free, or to go get it for, you know, under $100 a month to rent it, that's cheaper than going to a therapist for the most part. That you could do it does house clearings, land clearings. You can re-energize actually water. So I'm going to actually make a water thing. So anyone that's got, and even on the record, get your water glass now and have it in front of you, because it's going to be picking up the vibrations. And I'm going to show you how with your headphones or earbuds, you can do the same thing. So if you don't have one of these plates, they run a couple $100, and they're copper, and they're what's called an array. So literally the sound comes through here, rewires, and starts actually pulsing semantically into here. It's like solfegeal water. So we could actually put anything I want in here. So we'll just start with this quickly, Andrew, and we're going to get on to some other stuff. I want to start talking also about Yoni Steam. I'm going to talk about, for men, it's called a lingam steam. You guys don't have yonis, obviously, but pediatrics and also for pets. We're going to talk how I do this for children. And then we're going to talk also about navel canneling instead of ear canneling or ear coning. We'll show you that. And I want to bring some other different things that I was doing some interviews with a colleague of mine, Dr. Robert O. Young, where I do my oils with Dr. Gary Young years ago. Actually, Dr. Robert O. Young is one of the leading doctors and pioneers in what's called live cell microscopy. So these are high electron things. So I'm going to talk about him at the pH Miracle. And I did a show at News Inside Out with him and Gene the Decoder. So let's get on to something very simple. Okay, and I see we're having transmission problems, which is what's been happening a lot to me with my energetic field shifting these days. So when I start getting in front of any kind of electronics, as you're starting to see, I'm actually starting, and you'll see this actually disappear. Okay,
Yep.
you actually can see through this interdimensionally. So there's no green wall, as you can see. There's wood behind me. Okay, and I don't have a banner, and I don't have one of those weird screens that some people put on. Okay, just the way what's happened, just like with watches, I can't wear them and stuff like that. Or I walk into people's places that are using pendulums or something and they stop. So just that's part of the thing. So right now, what happens is you get the individual's name and their birth date. And then basically what we do to start the analysis, we have a voice recorder in here. It's like a microphone. So I'm going to hit the microphone. And Andrea, just like you say your name, a goal, the vowels, A-E-I-O-U, or even the alphabet slowly. So I just want to hear you for 15 seconds. And like a nurse, this is replacing my stethoscope. So we're just going to hit the microphone and away we go.
Andrew Mallet. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Okay, great. We got it. So we're just seeing me twice, like going into like interdimensional. This is weird, you know. I have no idea. We have in here, there's a bunch of numbers that comes down on the side, and those are basically your call signals. Okay, that's the frequency that you're operating at. And I do want to add that these operate with or without, and they can go off grid. So it actually, with my little Sierra Wave, it's a little solar panel, like a little notebook. It's about this size, so it could sit on the window. So if the grid goes down, I don't care. Okay, so there are ways that as we start thinking about how to power these things up, so it doesn't matter. I've done this out, you know, in the bush, that kind of thing, out camping. As you can see, it throws, or not see, there's a bit of a pattern it's throwing out here, and that pattern is indicative of your voice imprint. Okay, so that's your output. And so you'll see that it we analyze the voice in what's called fast Fourier. So people can look up scalar wave, you know, Lieutenant Colonel Tom Bearden. They can look up Ryan Williams at Insight Health Apps. But if you really want to get your trial, let me know, because also Dr. Ariel Pelican will usually give you some libraries extra or something like that. Or, you know, we have mini manuals that are kind of just to help you along, or some very simple training videos. Okay, the next part is being the Buddha. So we hit Buddha. Be Buddha, be like Buddha. Okay, we hit here, and I'm just going to take a picture of you, and that's all we do. We can take it with or without the picture or not. So I'm going to take a picture of you, smile. It's not the COVID team. Exactly. We get the individual's photo on here, and then what we do is that we just use that photo. And again, it will upload it, and what we're looking for is the energy around someone, right? So it's not only in you, it's the energy around you. And people don't realize that you have these grid lines around you. So your chakras should actually fill an entire room. And if someone's really healthy, you should be all hot pink. should look like a pink flamingo.
Okay.
Okay. So if the plasma is clean, and as Dr. Robert O. Young says, if the plasma is clean, the blood is clean, you're clean. If it's not, and you're acidic and negative and depressed and taking on everyone's negative energy, and you're taking on all the negative energy, the 5G, that's, you caused it. They're just providing the environment. So as the fish in the bowl, they've dirtied our water. So our thing is to keep cleansing and detoxing so it doesn't affect us, right? So we want to be acidic.
Right.
Yeah. So there's one little button, again, hard to see. It's a red bar. Oh, you can. Okay, so the red bar you just hit, and everything is done for you. Okay, and in there we've got physical, mental, emotional, and then there's libraries that I've taken from all over the world. So Ariel, I, and 12,000 other therapists have been busy for about 5-6 years taking samples of everyone's stuff, and we have imprinted them on the plate into here. So I have like David Wolf's, Nano Silver, 20,000 parts per million. I have all his chocolates. It's a wow. Some goes down on the border. I have sacred chocolate and rock cacao. Okay, nothing else. I'll recreate it. Kind of like the Matrix. I used to do that with Richard Bartlett, but this is actually what we're doing here, right? So in here, I like to just go into whatever category. And today I'll pick the aura category. And again, there's one button here. You just hit that and we're going to have your aura. So you can just do it for fun, like a mood ring. And this is the same thing with biofeedback is. It can see what kind of a mood it's. Some people, and sometimes it's handy before you go home. Okay, so we're just waiting for the color visualization. I like to do it before and after. And again, it's all pretty well green. I don't know if camera's going to pick up too well here. I'm just going to try and find one that in here. There, oops. Come on. It's basically all green. Okay, it's a very, very light kind of a green. As soon as I get closer to the camera, and you can see even the energy coming off this right now once we activate that program.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're doing. You're keeping negative energy away from you. You're increasing your field. So this actually looks kind of like an avocado green almost in there.
So what does that tell
Okay.
you? What does that tell you?
It tells me, again, people that are getting into the fourth dimension or fourth heart, like when you're doing chakras and stuff, it's into this green color. Is it all the highest, dark purples and pinks? No. So if I wanted to do, again, that's just where it's sitting. If I wanted to expand my field and make it bigger, then we're going to go into the blues and the purples and the pinks out here.
Right.
Okay. So again, someone's in their heart. That's nice. That's someone that's, like I said, you're kind of midway. And that's why I really encourage people is to get litmus paper. Litmus paper is very reflective of what's going on and with people too. And I get all my clients on what's called litmus paper. And it's a pH litmus. You can get it in any health store, or it comes in sticks. You take this off and you dip your first morning urine. You can do saliva if you want, just for, gigglies, but it's really the first morning urine. So again, you don't want to be in these lower chakras, like I said. Living down here, you want to be moving. So again, it's like a scale, and this becomes a notebook. Not only can I make notes, but it's going to put sound, like musical notes. So we're going to heal through sound, acoustics, or biophotonic. So in here, what it did, let's say it says your meridians are blocked. So in here, it tells me these 3 red lines up here are the acupuncture meridians, and those will correlate to triple heater bladder.
Say it again.
Okay, and so the triple heater and bladder meridian.
Okay.
And so bladder could be, and I don't say things are blocked. It's more like they're sluggish, right? So again, it's not flowing the way it should be. Okay, and so the bladder correlates to things around the head. It could be through the shoulders, could be our fingers, could be the reflexology points. Okay, so let's say I just wanted to do a triple heater. We could actually start going in, and it's just wonderful when I'm throwing this much energy now. You actually have got a picture of you, kind of like an assimilated man, and then it's got the red points, and that'll correlate right to the, to the head here, or to the shoulder here, or to where the correlating thing. So when I actually put it on and I put some sound with it, instead of shocking you with a, little needle or something, or a vaccine, you can actually go in and it will start using the sound waves and do sound acupuncture.
Okay.
So I like this. It's really fun. So again, and this is the reason we want to do some of the steaming. So some of these points here with people are blocked right up here. And, you know, it will go in and it kind of does, not quite like an x-ray, but it gives us again another visualization which areas are blocked and which areas to talk. You know, there's sluggish that we need to move things along.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's in the heart, okay, and we're blocking up here, so those are those extra 12 major meridians going up here, which will be conception, governing, you know, bladder, spleen, liver, gallbladder, that type of thing. And so we want to open those up. The most important ones, and that's why I focus on, is the governing on the conception vessel, because we need to move forward in our life, right? We don't want to be stuck. And so having these points stuck down in here, that's why we want to actually steam the pelvis, because it's moving things up and out. Rather than bringing us down to singularity, we want to expand. And steam by far is the best thing ever. You know, I'll get into that in a bit here.
What are some other ways of unblocking that?
Well, again, we can do aromatherapy and stuff like that. And actually water is the universal solvent, which is why I'm focusing on this. So we want to make sure you have a water glass. Do you have a water glass nearby you?
Yeah.
You do, okay. And I always advise my clients, if they have the option, is to go for spring water.
Yeah,
if you don't know where one is, findaspring.com. And again, very, very important you look at the labels, because a lot of these labels are
terrible. Yeah, terrible.
You know, not appropriate. So basically we have a big tray here, and this becomes like a notepad. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the problem or the vitamin that's too high or too low, or the virus, maybe it's a staph infection. Now what you want to do is you're shaking yourself into place. You're shaking out things so that you're not having a corona response. A corona is basically the response. A normal cell looks like this, and a corona looks like it's crowned. It looks like there's like spikes coming out,
Okay.
because it's leaking. Leaky, like corona is really leaky gut, leaky brain, leaky blood. So one of the oils that comes up for you is clove oil. So we would use these oils, and we can take aromatherapy, and the easiest way is to put it into water to make a water elixir, which is what we're going to do with you. So I'm going to start putting all these things into here, right?
So I have to use that more. I have to use my clove more. I have that, but I'm not using it enough.
Yeah. The other one is rosemary, and one of the things is showing is glucagon. So the other thing too, you know, as I keep loading up, I can load up 5 things. I could load up 55 things. You know, and less is more sometimes.
Right.
So as I look at the things that are in the blue, which are your lotus thing, basically it says wild rose, and wild rose is, you know, when people, and again, we have Bach flowers in here. I have oils, I have herbs, minerals, vitamins, and actual Young Living, doTERRA, Nevescence. I've got Eden Gardens. So as we have things from all over, there's lots of stuff. Dandelion comes up. So because it's in the blue, it will be some underlying condition. As we know, dandelion will just about heal almost anything. That and Tulsi, which.
Did you say clove?
Clove, rosemary, and whatever.
Okay.
Tulsi, and went into there. Now it says what's really turning up red here is the herbs, and the herbs come up: chamomile, echinacea, shilajit. So I'm putting them into, again, my notepad, right? And I'm going to turn the notepad into literally musical notes in a minute. What comes up is milk thistle, bearberry, echinacea, chamomile, schizandraberry. So those are some pretty cool herbs there. So let's say I just wanted to stick on my herbs, and I just wanted to make a herbal water infusion. I could just start putting my water on the plate or in between 2 headphones and just make a herbal infusion, a herbal concoction, and then drink that, you know, and your water's going to pick up what's going on here. So that's just alone. So let's say we wanted to make a like similar to a little bit of a hydrosol. You know, what comes up again: clove, rosemary, vetiver, lemon, wintergreen, geranium, grapefruit, Douglas fir. And again, I'm dropping them all in the box. So you can see as I'm, you know, picking them up here, I'm just virtual screening, and I'm making this entire list for you of stuff, right? So this could be really fun. So it becomes there. So it tells me that the hormone system is here being affected by the endocrine system and the nervous system. And again, respiratory. So everyone with respiratory, lung, heart, you know, cold, flu-like, we just have to start taking care of that digestive system and detoxing, which is why I like to do this, because now we can start making things. One of the things I have in my libraries, most people have never heard of, and I'm going to go into the library. So now I go into my secret secret chambers of all things. This is where I've imprinted, and Dr. Ariel have imprinted. So we have 12,000 therapists. You can gift and barter or pay for them or do whatever you want. We've got everything just about here. Okay, so we have things if we wanted emotional points, tapping points, meridians, EFT. We've got lots of things for post-traumatic stress, anxiety, that type of thing. So that's affecting people. And there's a whole entire, I've got 3 different things, even just to do with the corona, like letting go of the fear, not watching the TV, that type of thing. And so one of the things here is the coronavirus. When the cell is okay, it's okay. When it starts having leaky cell or leaky corona, it's at 760 hertz. So I'm just going to put 760 hertz into here, right? So you're trying to encapsulate and put things again here. And, you know, colloidal silver, colloidal golds, nano silvers. Now, one of the things that's in here that comes up really high with you is quinine. And most people don't realize, and I'm going to bring it over here, is that quinine is to get rid of everyone's sins. And it's called sin. It's called shikona. Okay, take the C and turn it into S. What have we got? A sin.
Right.
Symphony. Okay, but what most people don't know is the shikona bark is also called Jesuits bark. You want to get rid of the connection to the Jesuits, the Vatican? There's one way to go it. Decatholicize, decolonize. Okay, but the other thing that most people don't know is shikona bark here is also called China bark. Okay, so this little bark is very, very powerful. It's natural quinine, so it's not just about boiling. I know why people think you can just boil like grapefruits and you're going to have this, but that's what it looks like. It's a bark. Just like you have cinnamon bark, echinacea and roots, it's a bark from a plant in the Amazon. Okay, so I can either chew it up, put it into teas, do all sorts of things, or I'm actually going to add it to my steam water here shortly. But we can also take this and infuse it into your water.
How do you know? How do you know, like, the people that are selling it, if you're getting good or not good, or the quality? Is there a way to?
There's actually excellent quality. It's come from the Amazon. It's one of the few things that they haven't totally like destroyed in natural forests. You can go to Amazon. There's several reputable things. So you've got bark tinctures, and you've got powders and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that comes up here. And again, sometimes we will have post-traumatic stress, or we're dealing with a lot of people. Let's say when you do child rescue, trafficking rescue, abductees, that kind of thing too, we will be using a lot of this post-traumatic stress and emotional thing for them. And it tells me that there's some inflammatory response going on. So for you, the number one thing is turmeric. Yeah. So some sort of, you know, inflammation is going on and it wants to do that. It comes up with cacao, and it comes up with the assemblage point. The first, what you can look up is first brain circuit and 8th birth. So we have different circuits, a little different than the 12 cranial nerves in here. And it says some stuff here to do maybe with past lives. Okay, we bring things forward, and that's when I'm going to talk about steaming and doing things like that. And navel, because you remember we're connected at the umbilical to all your mothers. Mugwort comes up, and endocrine regeneration for male hormones. Okay, it says phytosterols, aldosterone, testosterone. So there's something in there that's out a little bit, and DHT. So we can take a look at that. Okay, so it gives me some things. Some ozone comes up and a few other things, but it gives me lots of different ideas, you know, potentials that we could be like playing with here. And so carbon C60 comes up actually from David Wolf. So if you really want to see what carbon C60 is about, take a look at the David Wolf page. It's probably the best one I've seen so far. And the reason why is he explains how it's an antiviral. And yeah, so anyway, there we go. That's actually pretty cool. And getting into some sort of a detoxification here and really, so right now, just for fun, I've put in 69 items into your tray.
Wow.
Okay. So there's 69 items. And right now we're just going to hit the button. It says give you the 69 items. So I'm going to get it. You are going to get it. Anyone in the audience getting it. So we're just going to keep it in there just so you can hear a little bit of it for a minute. And what we're going to do is then you're going to put your water in front of the microphone or in front of the earbuds, preferably all. So if you're listening in the audience, listen to it here for a minute. If you've got headphones or earbuds, even better. And then what we're going to do is we're going to transfer the headphones or the earbuds to your water glass. So I'm going to let this run here in the background. Most people find it very nice. Now again, this operates with or without the sound. So take a sip of the water right now before anyone goes to play with it. Okay, get that texture. Because what happens is when we start doing Genius Aqua Elixir, okay, and when you start making these, is they taste different to you, which is really cool. And when they taste different, that's what happens. You know, you're going to notice a texture difference. Most people say it's silkier, it's finer, because it's similar to when, you know, Patrick Flanagan used to talk, you're microclustering. All these people want to make all these, you know, thousands of dollars things. So that's it. So we're just listening to the sounds, and it's a day of atonement. Again, it's a notepad in its truest form. You're hearing notes.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to have you just listen for a minute as it goes through its thing. It's going through sine waves, square waves, sawtooth waves. It's doing multiple things. It's in training, overlaying, whatever it needs to do, it's going to do. Okay, so I'm just going to be quiet for just a minute and just have a listen, okay? And just close your eyes and see what you notice. Just a meditative moment.
Feel a lot of pressure on the.
Yeah, we're opening up connections to the donut. We know that because of the green, there wasn't a lot of purple in there. So there's something, I know it's going to be trying to open up, like decalcify the third eye. So you're using this instead of, you know, we can use this like, you know, same thing like zeolite, bentonite, activated charcoal, things like that, to frankincense to decalcify the third eye. Yeah, heavy metal detoxing is going on. I put some of the carbon C60 in. So. Okay, so we're going to have a thing. That was a few minutes that's been playing even in the background. Remember, even if I'm pushing it up, just like they put nasty frequencies, even if I have this playing in the background, you start getting it on the audio and the video. Okay, so let's go back and we'll take a look. Let's see what we got here. So you can see how much energy it's actually even pushing out between me. You can see as they're trying to come in with radiation, what it's doing. Okay, so this is really, it's gotten some blue around the bottom. Let's see if I can get it into position where we can get some sort of coloring coming up here. Okay, there's some sort of, you know, it's a little beigey, it's a little yellow around there, but at the bottom, what you're getting, there we go, a little bit of bluey gray coming in.
I can see. Yeah, I can see it there.
Yeah, so it's pushing things out, and I see some really, you know, sluggish stuff in there. You know, so that leads me to, you know, dirty lymphatics and stuff like that. And again, that green pushing up in the bowel. So we're going to try maybe a couple of things I'm going to add in here. One of the things is it says 174 and a 963. So as we've got like, you know, 528, you know, and 639 and 7, whatever, you've got 8 and 9. So we're trying to hit into the, again, connections, because people are disconnected from their field, right? And that's what prescriptions do. And so we want to get in there. And again, there's always that emotional thing in here too. Okay, so is there anything you'd like to look at? We, you know, it says we need to do some grounding here. And so I'm going to take that. We're going to go into some grounding techniques. We're going to do that. And then we'll do a quick one for Nadej. And then I'm going to go into how we can start using things at home too. So we're just going to give you another minute here. And we're going to pick some things out. And again, Pygenum africanum is a herb you want to look up, and you'll see it on the back end here. Degeneration, Shazandaberry, and Douglas fir comes up, spleen, and lemon and wintergreen. So there's the first herb. Let's see if I can get up into here. Yeah, no, it's checking off all the boxes we need, and it's sending things right, you know, like I say, at a cell level into here. And what I can do for clients, because everyone wants reports, there's no way we can send 60,000 things that are in here. People can't even, like, you know, it's too hard. So what we do is I allow them to take screenshots or videotape, like on Skype or, you know, Zoom usually. And they can take screenshots of, you know, that going, or I'll take the screenshots and we can always send it later. So what are you noticing now? Something different? And just close your eyes for a minute, see if we can notice something different. I notice you're flushing from here.
Yeah, I can feel like a nice and flush.
Yeah, you're heating up. You can tell that. Okay. So again, that's what it's running the frequencies and the you know, things through people. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and just see what it did again. And then we'll do Nadej, and Nadej is over. She's joining us all the way over from across the pond, as in en français. I believe she's in France, aren't you? So Nadej is gonna, if you can stick your, yeah, it's going back to green, but it's got a blue thing open here. Oh yes, merci beaucoup. I went to my bilingual school out here in Saskatoon. Little Russian, little Ukrainian, little Korean, a little French. Anyway, so Nadej, if you want, if you'd be so kind to put your birth date into the day you were born and the year into the chat room, that'd be great. So we came up again with this like really incredible kind of a green. Ooh, there we go. And it's got a little bit of blue now happening there. So it went to clean out some of the sludge. There we go.
That's, yeah, see it real good there.
Yeah. Yeah. So we kind of leave it there. And then we'll get September and then the date in the year, please. So you can see how simple this is actually, like, you know, to do. So we're going to, it does its own like kind of a cleansing. It does its own zapper thing. Now we can go into, you know, fun things too, like past lives and different things like that. It helps with a little bit of that. It sometimes tells us, you know, if they've got some Arcturian or they're, you know, going through some different things, star nations. We can also do some other stuff. So it allows us to remote view up and down the timeline a bit too. So, and we want to thank, you know, Nadej, especially in there. Got that on my Facebook there. Bon fil. Oh, it's good. And feel the sun. I broke it down. I'm still correct there. Great. Okay, so I don't know if we're able to unmute her for just a sec, if that's a possibility. We're going to try and get her face and just get a voice imprint. Are we able to unmute? Yeah, we got your beautiful face there. Okay. Bonjour, comment ça va?
Ça va et toi?
C'est bon, c'est fatigué, c'est excited, sovereign still, and cold. C'est très froid. It's like 3 feet of snow. So anyway, we're gonna go into here. So I won't tell anyone what it is. So we'll just scoot into here to what your day that you were born and the year. And we'll just get a quick voice sample and we'll just do a quick aura scan and get you going. How's that? And then I'm gonna get right into the healing part. So September. Okay, so we basically, hard to see, but I just scrolled basically the day she was born in here. Okay. And what I'm going to do is you've got a thing, if you're, you know, you want to make notes, you know, you got a headache, I got this, I got that. You can check off. There's a whole checklist of stuff if you want to do stuff like that for people too. But I'm going to have you just speak. And you can speak in French. It's great. Your mother tongue's always more preferred than English anyway. But we'll just have you say what you called, your name, and then the alphabet. Go.
Yeah. A, E, I, O, U, Nadège, Marie-Laure, bon fils. A, E, I, O, U.
Excellent. Okay, there we go. Okay. And then I'm just going to take your picture, and then you can just read off for a minute, and then we'll do about a 10-minute demo. I like to do 10-minute demos on people because then they get a hint of what's going on. Okay, so there's the output. And we're going to do next, and then I'm going to get your photograph too. So this is how easy it is to play with people on Facebook, and how easy it is to do your friends. It's easy to do, your children with here. And like I said, you don't have to be hooked up. If you hook it up, it's more intense. That's all, But anyway, there we go. Nice smile. Thank you. Okay, merci beaucoup. And so what happens in here is we're going to get that, and we're going to make a little thing. So we'll make sure you can have your water. You can even make a separate water glass if you want for this, because this one's for you. Even though it goes out to anyone, it's a little bit more intense when it's directed at you. So one button, we hit the red button, and bang, I know everything again. Now we have to remember that this is what, they're talking about, these free energy machines. Trump's talking about plasma technology. This is, the space program kind of stuff that they're doing. And make note, as a nurse, they're, 1,000 years ahead of what's in the public health system. Is a joke. It doesn't matter where you go. We need to go back to international medicine. And this allows us, because it's still a natural form of healing, as we're electrical magnetic. I don't have to go to someone, wait till they're almost dead with a crash cart. You can do, this microscopic stuff. So I'm picking up some oranges and some reds. You can see there's a lot of red up here and a lot of orange down here. Okay, I don't want to be seeing those kind of colors up in there. Okay, so we could be having heads, the whole liver, gallbladder. There's something physically going on in that ascend and colon. Does that make sense on your right side?
It's currently, since yesterday, I have food sensitivities, and unfortunately for me, yesterday I have eaten things I shouldn't have eaten. So
It tells me there's something physically wrong at this side. You're not digesting it to bring it out. Yeah, and it's affecting the head. So there can be also headaches, visual, something else, because it's simply, it's like, you can tell the system's had a crash to it. Okay. I know you can't see because of this, we're having some screen issues today. Anyway, and again, I was right. The number one thing said liver gallbladder. The liver gallbladder went, what the hell did you do to me? Right. So I would suggest in this case, the liver gallbladder flesh, and getting some, what we call castor oil, and putting castor oil over the abdominal area, putting a thin thing, and you can even wrap it with saran wrap, but put a hot wet saran wrap and put a hot wet towel on and compress it and stuff like that.
I have that I've done myself.
Now also it says to remind you, there's an allergy or a food hypersensitivity. It says to tomatoes or tomatoes. Okay, no tomatoes. So make sure it's clean there, and it's just showing great, like the number one thing for today's stress is inflammation. There's a huge inflammatory response, which you just said, oh yeah. And the brow chakra is really, like the third eye's really been like shut right down, and that's why we didn't see any purple up there too. So when those things we're not able to detect it in the finer field. So this can affect things like hormones and things like that too. It can affect our aura and different things. So there's 2-3 emotions that come up to the top here. One says shyness. So I appreciate you coming out of your comfort zone to be out here and across. And also hope. And this is a great time that, when we have this kind of technology, I don't need to run to the doctor. I don't even have a health card. This gives me hope that it's a tool to self-analyze, that we don't need to be using the medical system in the way that most people have been, and it allows us to be self-responsible again. Now in here, I'm going to go check the Acupuncture Meridians. And I like to always play traditional Chinese medical doctor. And the spleen and the bladder and the triple warner, again, low ones in here. And again, number one thing, intestine and liver meridian. So as I go back into here, I can see the liver meridian in here is all inflamed. Your liver's going, what did you do to me? Right. So anyway,
Well,
You
in
just
fact,
faintly see there's a red line going all the way up, going, you know.
well,
So the only thing we can do is actually, you know, try a liver, gallbladder, flesh, and try that. And it's 4 things you can look up. Hulda Clark's method or Andre Moretz. So you just need Epsom salt, 2 tablespoons, 2 glasses of water, half a cup
yeah,
of olive oil, and a 1/4 cup of grapefruit or lemon juice. So
yeah,
organic.
yeah. I
So
mean,
worth doing it there.
I, I'm currently drinking, 1 fresh lemon with hot water every morning before breakfast, before having breakfast. I'm doing that. And the thing is that since I was born, I have food sensitivities toward milk. So milk is completely forbidden, and that is to say, I am trying to cook the more natural possible and with fresh ingredients, etc. But sometimes when I cook for my daughter, for my boyfriend, it's difficult to always find things without milk, and I have developed sensitivities to gluten.
Right.
And gluten is like, and that's bad, and sensitivities to some kind of meats, and
Yeah.
so so more and more, weeks after weeks, I really have to modify my food, sorry, I'm losing my words, habitude, and so really to enhance my digestive system.
Yeah,
It's
no, this is correlated. The number 1 thing it says up here is a wheat sensitivity. That's
yeah,
off the charts here.
yeah,
Okay, so, and mentholation, peanuts, tomatoes, that kind of thing, cheeses.
yeah, yeah,
But in here, the number 1 thing, it says try some cordyceps or mushroom powder, like, you know, we can do that. And the
yeah,
second thing is healing chronic cases of digestive issues. And the
yeah,
third is the digestive needs mentholation, so it could be
yeah,
beet juice, stuff like that. It also suggests you give yourself a 24-hour just fast. Like,
yeah,
just do that. And again, it's addictions, you know, we do stuff like that, but it needs
yeah,
about a 10-week thing, but it's gotten into the nervous system, right? Your whole
yeah,
system's gone into like a
yeah,
almost like
it
an
affects.
anaphylactic
Yeah,
shock.
yeah,
Now, the biggest organ in the actual system of the body is not the skin. The skin's the elimination,
yeah,
but the inner stuff is actually the interstitium. And that interstitium has got to be alkaline. So again, flushing
yeah,
some baking soda and getting that through there. Again, with all my clients, I suggest getting, especially when you've done things like that and we're kind of naughty, fall off the wagon, so to speak, is to get some activated charcoal and do
yeah,
some black
yeah,
lemonade.
right,
So
right.
yeah,
Uh, I have done a 3 weeks cure, and I'm just going to begin again because it's really good.
yeah,
It's natural, it's detoxifying, and yeah,
yeah. One of the things it suggests is doing biofeedback. And it
yeah,
suggests, you know, I've got a thing in here about doing biofeedback or doing sessions and stuff, even with me, that comes up, and it's getting healthier mentored. So like I said, people can rent this. They don't have to get packages right off the bat.
yeah,
And, you know, they either have packages where you can buy the software and all these little toys and stuff too.
yeah,
And, but they do have a rental that you can do for subscription, but you got to talk to them directly on that. So I'm going to hit play. We're going to let this run for just a minute,
yeah,
and then we'll let you hear it. And then I'm going to get right into showing some other demos. But just to give people, that's 2 people today, really
yeah,
quickly, what we've done in here. So in less than an hour, I've done, you know, 2 different people, similar stuff,
yeah.
you know. So I'm just going to have you close your eyes and see what you notice across the pond. See if you can close your eyes and just scan and see if you notice anything, tingling, warming.
Yeah, yeah, it's going on the skin because
Going down the
it's
where?
on the skin. It's
Under the skin. Okay.
yeah, like moving on the skin.
Okay, so make sure you have your water there, and make sure your water's close by the microphone or between your 2 hands, because you're gonna become like a battery now.
Yeah,
And then we'll try drinking the water. So you can actually feel it working. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Okay, so we're just going to take another look just quickly at the aura, and that's really like, it was really like hit for pretty hard, right? That's like huge, you know, inflammation going on, physical inflammation. Okay, and we'll just see what happens here in a sec. Now, I kind of like this better. I got to get this out. This is all, you're starting to see that hot pink I was talking about in purple.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we just kind of did an energy cleansing. That's really a nice fuchsia, hot pink purple. That's what it should look like normally. You should start feeling like your own little self, you know, within a little while.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just seemed different. You're saying it was tingling and going down one side, or the legs, or what?
It was yeah, it was a really the lower part of the body. So I mean a feminine apparel and the legs,
Mhm.
and I mean when it's well, in fact, it's linked to the functionment of the body.
Right.
I mean, when it has to evacuate in some places,
Right.
and to do natural cleaning. So it goes by some, I mean, some part of the body, and I was feeling it was really working in this area, and now it's better. I'm feeling more sorry. Oof. Oof, excuse me.
Okay,
Oof.
so we'll just we're gonna take the video off and stuff here, and we're gonna go on to
No.
teaching now. Okay.
No. Excuse me. I mean, there was a spider on me, so I had to evacuate it. Sorry.
That's okay. We're gonna go on to our teaching point, but thank you for being
Yeah.
our volunteer today.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you, Karen. Really, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Nuria. Okay, thank you very much. We're just gonna close that out, and Andrew and I, we're gonna go into teaching now.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Andrew, how did you find that? Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah, very, very.
Yeah. Now, my thing is, you were still picking up some of her, this positive energy we were putting out to her at all these different frequencies too. You're picking it up. Did you notice something residually too? I did. I can feel the tingling.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Yeah. So I'm going to let this just run in the background, because even though it's like low, remember, it's still pulsing, whether we hear it or not. It's pushing out its stuff. Now, what I wanted to go into was what we talked about here. And this is how to get people, you know, getting them into the Yoni Steam. So we'll go for about another 20 minutes if that's okay, not too long. Okay, so there's the Yoni Steam, or for men, I called it the Lingam Steam. And it's probably the biggest lost art in, I would say, North America that there is.
Yeah.
Now, then when you had original teachings, we had original teachings, so they would have done this. And what they call in the red tent, or women's lodges, or, you know, in the sweat lodge. But what was lost is it went into just everyone sitting in the tent, and that's not the way the red tent operated. So I'm going to go a little bit into how to make your own little sweat lodge chair, right? And this is what the really the throne was about, and the noble chambers, not the royal thing. So we're going to go a little bit into that. Now, we talked a little bit about getting alkaline and using the water. Now, what I do is I can take this water that we just, you know, made these awesome elixirs with, and, you know, put in those 60 or 70 items. I can also transfer that water and put even a little bit of what you're drinking. So you can keep that, and you and Nanaj can take it out and put that in, and take a teaspoon out, you know, 3-4 times a day, and use it till that glass or that remedy's gone. Whether you want to do it in 3 days or a week, it's up to you. I can also now take the water, and we're going to transfer it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Yoni Steam. There are several schools in America alone. And if you haven't heard about it, one is called Red Tent Wellness by Lisa Kelly. And the other one, she's on the East Coast, and the West Coast one is actually Kelly Garza. And she runs something called Steamy Chip. They're both on Facebook. They both have YouTubes, and they both teach people. There's also a couple other ones in Georgia and in the lower states. What we have here is also they're called Yoni Steam and Womb Sauna Institute. Okay, so they actually train you're trained in the original ways before the Mayans and the Egyptians and the Pachamamas. So I'm going to show you very old stuff, but probably the most effective. As a nurse, when I first started out, this is the idea of was using, instead of nebulizers and stuff, this is using herbal steams to nebulize, and also to go in and start vaping. So being basically, instead of a croup tent, this is how nurses used to do this before drugs in World War II. So, okay, I've got a little thing back here. I'm just going to bring this down here. Doesn't look like much, does it, back there?
What is that? A hot plate and saucepan?
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's been sitting up here doing that. So I'm going to start cracking it up here for a second. So it can be just the hot plate. It can be a little saucepan, or I like to actually have, like the kind that you do spaghetti in.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what happens is actually now, but just for visualization, you put your water, and the water I had imprinted already. So this water's already picking up, the sounds. And then in here, we're going to put in equivalent to 1 or 2 tea bags of herbs. Okay. So I could put in a tea bag, or I could be in loose chips, or whatever you want. So we talked about shikona bark. I'm going to put a little bit of the shikona into it. Okay. So now I'm getting it nice and bubbly and steamy. Now, some people don't like to do oils. Lisa does, and Kelly doesn't. So I think it's up to your discretion. If you're putting a drop in, I might use a drop of something later. But you can see it's starting to come up here in a sec. You'll see it starting to steam. Back in here. And that's one way to start vaping, actually. Okay, so I don't know if you can see back in here, but it's starting to do its vaping.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So we're going to get it nice, hot, and bubbly. And again, if you wanted to put, some essential oils in, you can put some salts in, Epsom salts. I use Manitou mineral salts, black salts, whatever you want. And again, getting it going. So this is something you can imprint the water off the Genius biofeedback into the enema water. You can also use it in the Yoni Pearls, which I'll talk about. And definitely in here for your essential oil. So even if you want to put something, even just, a light lavender or frankincense, you can too. Now, for those people that are used to smudging, like smudge bowls, or let's say if they're using like incense, right? I mean, how many people are burning their incense and their cones? This is a way to start doing something instead here. So the other way that they used to do this was to actually sit on the chair and smudge, even if they were just using this, like the moxibustion. Okay, so you can do combinations of this, not just going around this way. You're missing the whole point. Literally, it's got to go up into here.
Right.
Okay, so how do we do that?
And that's for female and male also, correct?
Male, female, pediatrics. I have children that sit on these and vape. I also have done animals. So I've done this for animal rescue. So as you can see, okay, it is coming up into here. Okay. So there are some people you can start and just sit over and bake, and you get a big towel, make a tent. It's not that difficult. Get a bed sheet or something. But the other thing you can do is I've got 5 different types. You can look at the things, but this is just a chair. Okay, and you know those beach chairs that fold out? They're canvas. Well, go down to your local thing and just get some scissors. I've done that at friends of mine. They were sick and stuff, so I can just start sitting on here.
Where did you
and
pick that?
It will go through clothing. The idea is that you're not.
Where did you pick that chair up at?
This up here, I had one that was at Canadian Tire. It's like your Walmart, or it's just a simple thing. They're usually $10, $15, $20. The fold-out chairs are nice too because they fold out. You can put them in the thing, but I started going to this rather than the ones. And then basically what you do is you just sit on it and you're vaping. And when I broke my knee, I put my knee over it too. Okay, but it's beautiful. And smudge, actually, you're going interdimensionally. When you're burning stuff, you have very limited, things what you can do. Even aromatherapy with the squirting and the hydrosols are limited, but this is amazing.
It
So
seems very
in
simple
here,
too.
I've had people,
Seems very simple to do also.
how simple, okay?
Yeah.
So there's really nothing to this. It really isn't. And like I said, this is a matter of people that are having trouble breathing, right? Just put it again around here and create a vape jar. Okay, you can do the 10th. The children love it because you're making a 10th thing. Okay. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. This is huge. This is huge and was done and should be done. As they're gold chairs, so don't laugh. This is the do-it-yourself version, right? That we just looked at. I've seen chairs $3,000-$4,000 in Europe, in China,
That's
in
great.
Russia, orgonite chairs, infrared chairs. I mean, absolute in China, the emperors used to use it. The Ming Dynasty and stuff. They would use gold, so they were getting the gold ions and the silver ions. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so this has always been used, and so this is the very simple way to do it. Probably the most effective. We have wood boxes, you'll see. So if anyone Googles, and we'll probably screen share in a second here, what's been happening, right? And again, you're cleaning out everything. And we got to remember the power of steam. Putting something on here, oh yeah, that's nice. I can put all my essential oils on. But what happens is it's the same thing, is that it will move. It has the power to move a boat, a cruise liner, and a locomotion for steam. So the other thing is a T-ball. So just like you have what's called, this is called a, I don't know if you know what it is, it's called a Yoni Pearl.
No, it's the first time
Okay.
I've seen that.
Okay, this is a Yoni Pearl for women, and we'll use suppositories for men. This is my homemade version. So this one's $10, $15, and this was 50 cents.
What was the
Okay.
material you used on yours?
Well, you know, some people use cheesecloth. If I put it up really fine, I don't know if it will pick it up, but you can actually see there's a bit of, it's like cheesecloth. It's very like, but you can use fabric. And what I've done here is just gotten, you know, again, a natural fabric. Thank you very much. So you can get something that's got a little bit of gauze stuff through it, a little bit of holes, and just simply cut it up. And it's basically a 3x3 or 4x4. And I'll just cut a little piece off here now, just to show you how simple I've done it here. So it depends on the size you want to. I have got about 60% of my women now are actually incontinent. Stress incontinence. It has nothing to do with having children. I think it's to do with the radiation, the 5G now, right? And so what you can do is just get a simple little gauze, you know, something you can sort of see through, a little permeable, right? And natural fabric. And then what we can do is we can take those herbs, and you know, you can take a tea bag. I've actually taken where I've taken just a tea bag actually and shoved it in here. And then I get string here. And then what I do is I just actually tie it up. Take the tie and you make like a little ghost thing here. Like that. And then there you have it. So I've actually put it where I just greased up with coconut oil and just stick it in. Now again, these use these for 3 days. It takes 3 days to absorb all this because you're trying to take this down orally in some damn pill and go down equivalent to, you know, all this and break all this down to get one morsel out of that. Okay, because you basically poop out everything except the, you know, essential stuff out of it. This goes directly in and it takes about 3 days to absorb that. So that's equivalent to probably about 2-3 pills, you know, if you took a herb. So anyway, that's really nice. So if you want, you can make up a whole bunch, put them in your drawer. It was like when grandma had potpourri, you know, and put them into the empty drawers. But it's basically it's a sachet. And if you actually look at the back of the cheesecloth package, I think I have one kicking around here. I do. You'll see that there's actually a picture of one. I find this a little too loose. Get the fine one. This one here is way too loose. So you can get a fine one on Amazon. But there's the cheesecloth. And what's sitting right there?
I get.
We're just going to use it that way.
Oh yeah, okay. I see what you're saying.
Right? A natural touch. Make a natural herb sachet. Okay? You just make it to the size that you need. Okay, so I have a lot of women that are incontinent, so you can also make it a little bit bigger and size what you need to, because a lot of people's walls are coming down, or we use like what's called diva cups. They're silicone cups to put in, so even if you're menstruating or not menstruating, you can still keep the walls back so the women aren't incontinent. Seems to be a massive thing. So there you go. Okay, so there's my little fabric one. Here's the one that came off the internet. And here's my cheesecloth one. So
And-
however you want to do it.
And for the people that don't know, where does that go?
Into the vagina.
Yeah.
It sits in. You just grease it in and you literally just put it in. It just sits so you can hang it and you leave it with that tail just like you are. It's a herbal tampon.
And for the male?
And for the male, we're not going to do that. We're going to make something called aromatherapy or herbal suppositories. And there's a place called Optimal Health Network, and that's for male or female. And basically, I can show you how to do that in another show because I didn't bring my chocolate tray in here. But you take ice cube trays, you know, the little pop-up ones from a dollar store. They're silicone now. And you make a little bit of coconut oil, like, you know, whatever, maybe about half a cup of coconut oil, and put your different lavender, frankincense, whatever you want in there. And I always add a little bit of cacao butter, like for chocolate, and then mix up this herbal, you know, liquid, and you put in the ice cube trays and you pop them in the freezer, and then you can pop them in. You can eat them,
Yeah, I
or you
have
can
one.
put them in your bread. They're also called bum candy if you're using CBD. So the people that do CBD. Now the other thing I want to talk a little bit.
I just heard what you said, bum candy.
Bum candy. That's what they call it. Yeah, that's what we call it. Yeah. The other thing too, and it was kind of fun to like get you the other day. What is this? And you go, I don't know. This is called an ear candle. It's also called coney.
Just before you go on, just I have the simple.
Yeah, there's one that's rounded, or the other thing you can do is you can actually take the straw and bend it back, like just tape it up. You can also put it into very wide straws. And I've also used actually tin foil. You know, you can buy suppository molds, but with the flip, just, you know, I pulled it down. So I've done it into making a trough with tin foil and conformed it. The other thing you can do is like those chocolate things. Sometimes you need to cut them in half or melt them, you know, till they're in there. But I found the nicest ones are the kind of little ones that look like Hershey Kisses. They're kind of rounded.
Yeah, the reason I got this is for, I put the coconut oil and then put the essential oils in it and let it put in the freezer and let them freeze up and then eat them like candy.
You can, and that's how I make my, you know, raw
Okay.
chocolate with a la David Wolf. It's putting aromatherapy, and that is what we've done. So this is called ear candling or ear coning. Okay, also called Hopi candles. Hopi means peace, by the way, and like the Hopi tribe. So this goes back another thing. So people can also do it and light it on fire. So you basically put a fabric down or a pie plate, or I've used tin foil, or I've actually used, even in a hurry, I've used what you call paper towel or something like this. And you just make a little hole. So paper plates will do. I used to use fabrics or, you know, face cloths or hand cloths or something, some old towels. But basically you're just making a hole to where this would go into, so you don't burn yourself. So I do my own ear candling, and what you do is you put this on fire, and it's the same thing with the belly button. So basically what you do is you put the essential oils. I like to put essential oils or a little bit of calf into the belly button. And then basically what you do is you light this on fire. So the only time you don't do it in the ears is if you've had ear surgery recently, or you've had what's called ENT, but you've had shunting, or where they've put in the tubes,
Oh, okay.
because this operates now on negative pressure, and you don't want to do that.
Right.
You know, it's the same thing. It will start hurting right away, just like when you've gone down swimming and dived way too far, you'll feel it. So again, those are the only two times. But what I'm going to start saying is I want you to stick it in the belly button. So all you do is you lift your shirt up, stick it in the hole. And then what I found is I do several different candles. Okay. And you would be amazed what starts coming out of here.
Now, does the wax drip down in or no?
No, there's no wax. Okay. Your candles are made very specifically that you shouldn't actually notice anything. Okay, I'll just do it from here. And what you're doing is you're actually burning through the chakras and the different auric fields here, and you're pulling out negative energy. So it's stuff that you can't always see. Okay, and of course have some water close by. Now, what I like to do is you can hear it sizzling after a few minutes, and it will sometimes block up because it gets just full of like the stuff in here. So if you actually have done this enough times, you'll see that there's a difference, you know, into what's coming out. And you'll start hearing the crackling. And actually, when I've gone around people in their auric field, you'll hear it crackling. You can see as I take it out what's happening. Right?
Yeah.
So when you're stuck against here, it's forcing things out. And again, this is stuff you can't see. This is like interdimensional stuff. So these are things that were always used in there. Okay. And it can get pretty wild. And again, what I'm showing you for steaming, herbs, oils, that sort of stuff, is also when you've been intimate. Men and women should always be steaming before, even after, you know, being intimate or intercourse and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of things that are transmitted that you may or may not be aware of, and a lot of it's in the genetics. Okay, you know, even people, if they've been virginal, there's stuff in the gene pool. So it allows you to do that. Especially the steam is very great for people who've been raped, traumatized, abductees and stuff like that, because it really cuts the cords. So you can hear, I don't know if you can hear it now, but it's sort of crackle.
Yeah.
Hear the crackling?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to pull it out for funsies here. But you usually, you know, do several candles at a time. Okay. Now, what I did is I get skewers. Yep, there's already stuff in there. Okay, so I'm gonna do it this way. I invert it and wait it, you know, a minute or two. There's bits already coming out of here. But there's actually stuff, and don't be, alarmed, and don't touch this with your hands because it's actually toxins. There's a tiny little piece, but if I leave it on, I don't know if you can see it there.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, imagine that the size that would feel like a half a teaspoon. Wow. So quite often, that's why you need to have something to unplug it. Okay. Okay, so don't be alarmed because usually stuff that comes out is quite a bit. And again, it's burning down.
Yeah.
Same thing. You've got to keep that opened up. Okay. So don't knock it till you tried it. I've had people all of a sudden pulling things out of their teeth, out of the meridians, shoulders. I've had people with abdominal and masses soften right up within doing this. And I like to do I've discovered now about 4 candles, or do 2 one night and 4 the next.
Where can you pick those up at?
I have them at my local health stores here, but you can also get them online. And I tried different brands because there's one brand that just doesn't do it for me, and another one is perfect. So you may have to go through a couple brands. Don't get stuck on something. But when you find something, stay with it. That's all I gotta say.
Is it called like a funnel, or they have a specific name for that? Is it a candle? Or?
Air candles.
Okay.
Air candles, air coning. Yeah. There's more than enough stuff there. So that was kind of what I wanted to get through, is some of this newer stuff that it's so simple, yet people are missing. I'll go through a little bit of maybe just aromatherapy in here. The other thing too, I'll show you the activated charcoal. I'm big on that. So if people don't have carbon C60, so you just have to bear with me. Oops, I just knocked the camera up, didn't I? That's not great. Okay.
And for our audience, there's Ruth and Vicky. You can, on the chat, you can, if you have questions, or you can put your hand up and ask questions.
Yeah, Vicky, welcome. Nice to see you. Well, I haven't seen you yet, but let me know if you want a quick, or a scan or something too. We can also fit you in. You can leave your date of birth and stuff underneath, and your full name, email, and phone number. Okay. So one of the things I use too a lot is this is different than colloidal silver. It's Nano Silver, and this is 20,000 parts per million. This is not 10, 20, 30. It's 20,000, guys. So this is pretty huge. And let me just put it in water. Let me show you how different it is. Okay, so it's just beautiful. It's like black activated charcoal. And if you have any questions, just ask me. We'll start maybe doing we could even start doing a weekly show or something. I don't know. And get your health questions better than Ann Landers. So again, spring water, findaspring.com. Okay. And You will see, this is very wild to watch. It's almost like a science experiment. There we go. You see it starting to do its thing.
What is it doing? I can't.
There we go.
Okay, I see it.
See how it's starting to move? It's a different. So even if I put another one just down here. Yeah. So that's something else that's really nice. The other thing they came out with, davidwolf.com, this is a carbon C60. And carbon C60 is got 60 facets or sides. It's like having a diamond or a soccer ball with all those surface areas. And what that does is it allows it, because this, everything that they make, that, you know, where you're going to corona responses or heavy metals, is actually positively charged. So this has got a negative charge to it. And you can do it straight, but it again is mixed up, and it's basically carbon. So, you know, they take it off, especially the ones you'll see from coconut trees and stuff. And it's like the carbon that you have. You can also make biochar at home, you know, and so a lot of people are doing the biochar to protect it from the radiation and the 5G and all the different air pollution and stuff like that, because it's burning the plants out. So they're putting a lot of the biochar and activated charcoal right on the plants and mixing that into the roots so the roots don't burn, because everything now to about 10 feet is just radioactive burning. So this is one of the things we can do. The other thing I love to do is use what's called activated charcoal. And activated charcoal, that's the liquid form. And look up David Wolf, you'll see it's antiviral. And they tried to kill, basically, this is funny but not so funny, they tried to kill, do some drug experiments. And what they found is that the mice and the rats that they gave the carbon C60 to, is that it doubled all their lifespan. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So a lot of people, we've got MMS and we've got, you know, humanic shale, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. But the other thing you can do is you can get what's called activated charcoal. And it comes in pill form, so they're black pills.
Yeah, I have the Star Wars botanicals.
Yeah.
It's a powder form.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I'll use the pill form, and it's just for people that have got dental. So a lot of people have put veneers and dental stuff. It will stain the dental. So you might want to have, and there's a white charcoal too, by the way. So you can actually get charcoal pills. So what you can do is take these pills, you know, separately. And what I do is I put the little bit of lemon, squeeze some lemon, and a tiny little bit of baking soda into here. And I put a drop of lemon essential oil. So I'll take my lemon essential oil into here. And then again, some sort of a natural glucose. So it could be molasses. Some people, organic raw agave or maple syrup. I like a birch syrup, something like that. And again, for those people that don't want that, put a little bit of stevia if you need a natural sweetener. And then again, this becomes just absolutely jet black, you know, and that is really helping with the radiation. Anyone that's had cancer, COVID, respiratory issues, you really want to get this. This really stops the antiviral response. So I wanted to leave that with you. And then the other thing will be the castor oil. So, oh my gosh. So, castor oil is another thing that we can do. Grossly overlooked. This is what we call castor oil. It's a bottle here. This is the Palma Christi, which means the oil of Christ. And it means to be Christos. It's not a Bible book. Christos is a different word. And you can look that up. So anyway,
Yeah.
This is hexane free, this particular one. But you can find lots of them out there. And so this can be also drank. So a lot of people will even drink like an ounce of it, you know, every week and get things lubricated. This is not about having diarrhea. You don't have diarrhea. What it does is it's lubricating and you're pulling a lot of toxins out. The other thing you can do is this, I've used castor oil in the liver gallbladder flush. So it's basically a glass of water, Epsom salt, glass of water, Epsom salt 2 hours later. And then I've used also castor oil or mixtures of castor oil and olive oil. And then a grape, you know, lemon chaser, grapefruit chaser. And then you'll have an extra bowel movement or two, hopefully the next day. And if it's really plugged up that meridian, then get it going. But it cures Epsom salt as magnesium. But this again, I can put my aromatherapy essential oil on onto the tummy, grease it up, and then you grease up here. Oh, just major. I just get it nice and goopy. And then what I do is I can use a light flannel or a fleece or something. And then if you want, some people actually put saran wrap and go to bed with it. And a lot of people, they use hot water bottles. I like to use, of course, a hot wet towel.
Yeah.
I'm more into doing things naturally. And then you can put the saran wrap on overnight, you know, on here. But those are some major things. You start doing things like that, it will be very exciting. And then I think the next show we'll do, I brought my colon hydrotherapy machine, and I didn't put it in for the shooting, but or taping. So we'll maybe do that later. I really want to get it upgraded because I have everything here to do that now. So that's kind of a fun thing. Do you have any questions? Or Vicky, do you have any questions at all? Or anyone have any questions? Oh my gosh, look at, we got Ruth there. Ruth is, thank you. Nice to see her. She cut a hole in her chair today. So those are some pretty cool things here. That's actually what I talked about. What I can do is, I'm gonna see if I can screen share here appropriately for just a sec. If it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. No, you disabled me from screen share. So I can't screen share. But we can try that next time where we can do that. And then maybe I'll do some screen sharing. So I don't know if anyone else has got any questions there. Anyone else in the audience? Do you have any? Vicky, Ruth, anyone got any questions? Put them in the chat room.
You can unmute and you can
Yeah, we can unmute you.
show your video if you want.
If you feel brave and you want to go on the air, you can do that with us too. I think these are really, really important things. I want to direct people as well. Andrew, I just did an hour and a half teaching with Dr. Ariel Policano, and Ariel Policano has her own YouTube channel, or if not, you can get a hold of her at Genius Biofeedback. But I spent an hour and a half with her and Eric DuPont, you know, teaching some of the doctors and stuff, new ways of doing energetic frequency medicine. And it was really nice. You know, these are biomedical things that we're using here for. Someone said who? It was awesome yesterday. You blew my mind. Oh, that's right. That must be Ruth T. She was probably in the show. So there's a 3-hour conference and summit. So quite often I will go in and one of the lead chief instructing teachers in biomedicine right now. So yeah, if you get the opportunity to do that. Vicky, Ruth, do you have any questions at all? I think Andrew just unmuted you. Vicky, do you have a question here?
Oh, is there any source for the white charcoal?
You know, I've got them at my health store here at Dad's Nutrition in Saskatoon. You can ask them, or I'm sure if you Google it, from what I'm gathering from, you know, spending a lot of time with David Wolf when he comes up here, is that the black charcoal off the coconut tree, and he's got an excellent one. It's called Kohl, Kohl biter. So you can look at his, and it's an actual legend that the Kohl, this is like in Iceland. I don't know if you've heard this story, but how it came to be is that the weakest runt of the, whatever, say, the tribe used to hang around, and they were too weak to go to war. So the runt of the litter would stay back and tend the coals. And what they did is they used to not only eat it, but they brought it as part of their food. And who ended up being the strongest out of all the tribes were the coal biters. So the runts became the leaders of the pack, so to speak. So it's kind of cute. But that's the legend of it. They say a lot too, the coconut, because it gets hit by lightning, and it's the coal that's like a spark. So you might want to take a look at that. How does that sound? But you'll have to do a little bit of Googling. We'll see what's around there. If the stores don't have it, I'm sure, I know David Wolf's got stuff, Amazon's got stuff. You could probably do a couple in there. But from a shamanic point of view, is that the darker it is, probably the better it is, because it contains the element. The black is the Jing, the feminine. And that's why dirt works for fulvic acid, because it's very, very feminine. Any other questions do you have, Vicky, at all? You can unmute you there for a sec. Looks like you're muted again.
I'm fine. Thanks a lot. Good to see
That
you.
helps. Okay, yeah. And if you want to have any sessions or anything, don't hesitate to get a hold of me on Facebook or anything else. Ruth, do you have a question today? You had fun, I guess, taking a look at us, and we'll see how this is. And if everyone's all happy today, we'll probably wrap it up here shortly. So Ruth, everything okay with you? Do you have any questions? If you want to do sessions, or you have loved ones that you think need a session, distance healing is very nice with this. And I really encourage people to take the gift of 2 weeks free. Because I mean, you can download it onto any smartphone. Oh my gosh. And it's an app. It will say I'm trusted, and that's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. So what we want you to do is just do a manual override. It means it's not in the Apple store. And it's like, oh, it's like Apple's going like, oh my gosh, I can't make money off you people. So that's the way it is. And you just have to go into your settings and then general and then device management and just accept the application up there. So yeah, anyway, so that's really cool. So no, I'm glad you really had a great time there, Ruth. Yeah, it was quite an intensive 3 days there. So I like to do that every couple of months.
We were just joined by, it says D. I don't know if D is.
Dee, how are you? Hope everything's going well. So we're just coming to the tail end. So we just kind of reviewed what we talked a little bit about biofeedback. I don't know if you want to be brave. We could also put your, if you want to put the date you were born and whatever, we could get your voice without a picture. We talked a little bit about PEMF, which is the genius biofeedback, or what actually biofeedback is. It's the electrical magnetic field. And again, that's what we're doing. We're going to turn our phones and iPads into these electrical fields here. And yeah, no, that's cool. And then the other thing we talked a little bit about was Yoni vaginal lingam steaming, which is vaginal or pelvic floor steaming. So there's some questions in the audience there. Ruth's got a question here. I'm just going to take a look here. I cut a hole in a chair today. It was awesome. You blew my mind. Great. You have no idea how many people are putting holes in their chairs right now. They'll be back in touch and stuff like that. So again, doing chelation for heavy metals is excellent. And so that's what chelation is. And activated charcoal or carbon C60 is amazing. And yes, you'll be able to watch it again and again and again, because Andrew is going to upload this to the Project INCENSION YouTube and Rumble. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. No problem. So yeah, that's great. So
I'm going to upload it on YouTube, Rumble, and I'll post it to Parlor, Facebook, MeWe, and We Go.
Yeah, we'll be up there enough here. So again, we talked really about making your own steam chair. So you can see how we've gotten a hot plate back here down here. Can we see that again? I lost my picture, so I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going blind here. But anyway, there's a hot plate down here, and then we get like this, you can see, with a little bit of tea and saucepans. I prefer to have a bigger one, or a lot of my friends like to use the ones that use like for stew, or you would do spaghetti, and get it like hot and steamy and start sitting over this. And then what you do is we get some sort of a chair, stool, beach chair, full chair. And then this just simply goes over here. And then basically you put a big blanket around you, and then you sit on these. Some people like to go anywhere from 10 minutes. I like to do hours myself. And I've had lots of people that after 2-3 months of steaming like that, you know, you're seeing it's not just a reproductive organs, it's getting the biofilm. It seems to be parasite cleansing. It's opening all 7 chakras because you're hitting all the acupuncture meridians at the same time. So after a couple of months of steaming, it's amazing. A lot of people are hesitant, unfortunately, to do enema and colon hydrotherapy, which they should. And that's one of my biggest things. But you can put lots of herbs in there. Herbs I put in, you could put in your tea bags. You can, again, I restructured the water here using the Genius Biofeedback with our plates. We made a beautiful melodic elixir today. So we actually took the Genius Biofeedback, and that's what we did. We started putting the sounds out. And I think everyone in the audience, all of us could feel it. So it operates off a phone, an iPad, or whatever. And so literally that's what we started doing, was we did some sessions and got these people feeling a little better today. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is so great. There we go. Oh, there we go. I see myself again. So anyway, those are some of the things too. And again, your phone or whatever it is, it can start transmitting out the field. You can see just what starts happening to me in this interfacing. You can see the energy switching in me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, if you can imagine, when you think about the radiation coming off here and what we're doing.
Yeah. And
this is very cool. I mean, this is solid, yet you can see something from somewhere. It's like time traveling. I don't do it anymore. But anyway, that's the thing. So we take the voice, and it takes us less than, 10 minutes to get it going. But this is cool. It can be left on all night and just pulsing away and fixing people's. I've had everything from broken knees to cancer tumors to I can't breathe to I just want to have a thing. It's great for relations. You know, if you want to talk about compatibility, who needs dating sites? You know, check them out first. You know, it does the physical, mental, emotional, and that's the other thing too. It can detect things. So we've got a in the back here. I was showing you, you know, what we were doing in here, but we literally do have also a secondary rife, and so you can go back into the rife part here and just say, okay, I just want to check all my bacteria. I want to check all my Lymes. You know, this is great for Lymes right now. What I did is I took the ticks in Saskatoon, and I put it on here and I reversed engineered the signal. And then I fed it back to my clients, and they all didn't have Lymes, and they were all not depressed anymore. They were all up and moving. The weirdest thing I saw with one of my clients, who's now one of the genius therapists around Saskatoon, is we actually did it. He was bit the night before, and he kept the ticks for me. And because I'd done a session once before with him, and he knew, he says, I think, Karen, you can fix this. So he brought me the ticks, and I tell you, Andrew, within about 10 minutes, his thing was like, he felt like there was little ants and they were like, it was going after. But what we weren't expecting on exactly the other arm is a huge ball came out the size of a grape, started pushing up out of the skin. It was like, you know, where you start seeing parasites come out of people, and you've seen that. Yeah, that's what started happening. But it was exactly in the whatever, you know, if you got 432, so it's probably about 460 hertz. They had already gone through the system, and all this does is it picked up the, I got a Lyme thing, but I made my own. So we have like Lyme in here and all sorts of stuff. And so we tried that and we loaded up the Lyme, and it said it was hatching. So they had already hatched. They were through the whole system, but they were living in that spectrum, in that bandwidth, this particular, you know, frequency. So when you think about with breast tumors and stuff, well, what's stuck in here? You know, that could be all sorts of parasites, Lyme hatchlings, nanotechnology, all sorts of stuff, you know, fibers and stuff. So there's a huge thing in here. So we can look for mycoplasma, and then literally all you have to do is hit the play button. So there is a built-in old-fashioned, old school rife machine in here too, even though you saw all the customized thing. The other thing as well that we did is we've got something called a PEMF, and this is kind of what people are all talking, oh, they got a Healy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't you just electrocute yourself? It's just putting, like I said, I've got one somewhere around in here. You know, the mouse thing, you know, where the mouse, you plug it in and it just zaps that frequency like a zapper. So it sends sound waves, right? It's emitting that. And that's what this does too. The only difference is Ryan made this to operate in conjunction with the Genius. But if you want, it's a wrist strap like the old zapper. So we have an Odyssey, and we have this wearable PEMF. But the difference with his is he's got a PEMF. It's got LED and cobalt. It's got blue and red lights pulsing at the same time on top of the frequency with the transmitter coils and the copper coils. So it's like a baby Tesla coil. So that's another thing. So if people are going to get stuff, at least get something that operates.
Right.
So I've used this, and this helps speed up some of my, you know, broken bones. It seemed to double the thing. So that's kind of where we went with the talk today. So I'm just trying to surmise there for D and anyone else that's just kind of joined. I know if anyone else has any questions, but after that, I think we can probably do it. Vicky, Ruth, Dee, Andrew, anything else for questions this evening?
No. Yeah. Very
Okay, so
very informative.
yeah, I'd like to start doing maybe a weekly thing. That would be kind of fun, and people could bring their friends.
Yeah.
Be great if we could somehow attach this to Facebook or Rumble or something, that we could have a full chat line going at the same time, or even our YouTube, even the old YouTube, because we should be able to get a feed line going.
Sounds good.
Yeah, weekly would be great. People need to know. Yeah, you don't die from diseases, and you don't die from COVID or Corona. You do. People die from a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, and we call that ignorance in our thing. So, like I said, the thing is to make you frequency higher and higher vibrational, so that you're out of the range where this 5G, if the 5G and radiation is coming into all those people here, well, stay in the higher frequency. If you're vibrating higher than these signals, then it's not effective. You're neutralizing it. You know, you can be the grounding rod. Don't let it, you know, let it just kind of go through you, become, you know. So there are ways to kind of do this, you know. We haven't got maybe all the answers, but we know how we can, you know, get towards it for sure. And that's some of the best things we could do at this time. And tomorrow, if people want to join us, We'll be here, same time, same place. We'll be with actually Patty Broussard tomorrow. Is our other co-host and slash guest tomorrow, right? And we'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern. And that'll be like just seriously out of this world stuff. That's the out of the world stuff. That's my other hat I wear. I'm not playing nursing.
All right. That
So
sounds
yeah,
good. I'll be uploading it to YouTube Rumble.
great, thank you. So
Latecomers.
yeah. So if you have any questions or anything, or you want a session, or even if they just want a demo, they can get a hold of me at clanmother13@gmail.com. For those people not on Facebook, me and Instagram and Twitter. But Andrew, you've got the Project INCENSION email. You can use it at the bottom. So like and subscribe and send this video out. So we've had a great evening. Thank you for spending your supper time with me. I appreciate that.
Thank you for all the guests too who've also shown up. And we will
Okay.
see you